All right, welcome to benchmark, which is half of your final exam for QR. So your simple interest formula that you should have found was I equals PRT. P is the principal, R is the rate turned into a decimal, T is the time. Future value was simple interest. You should have used A equals P, parenthesis, 1 plus RT. Sorry I didn't space this out better. My bad. Your compound interest formula is A equals P, parenthesis, 1 plus R divided by N to the exponent of NT. All right, so I'm still going. It's okay. A is always the future amount. P is the principal or initial amount that you're going to deposit. R is your rate turned into a decimal. N is the number of times per year it compounds. And T equals time in years. The loan payment formula. You have a loan payment formula on here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
A equals P times R divided by N. That A should be a PMT. My bad. There we go. 1 plus 1 minus R divided by N to the negative NT. I'm going to hit the pause while people copy that down. All right, we got this going on. All right, so we have all of our formulas. I set this up so that I was going to do an example in each section, and then you can do the problems after that. Example, calculate the interest earned with the given information. It tells you what to do, so that says, and I know interest equals principal times rate times time. The principal, I'm told, is $4,000. The rate is 4%. APR is the same thing as rate. So when it gives you an APR, you're plugging that in place of R. You need to convert that to a decimal by moving it 2 spaces to the left. And the time is always going to be in years. And this is for 2 years. 4,000 times 0.04 times 2. So my interest earned was $320. That's how you do stuff if it asks you for the interest. Moving down to the next example, we are going to do future value calculations. Calculate the future value of an account where $3,000 is invested for 5 years at 10%. So I have these 2 future values up here. You have to know when to use this one and when to use this one. When you see the word compound, you're going to use this formula. If you don't see the word compound, then you're going to use this one. So the word compound is not in here. That means I'm using A equals P, parenthesis 1 plus RT. I'm going to invest $3,000, that's my principal, for 5 years, that is my T, at 10%, so that is my R. 10% as a decimal is 0.1. And I want my future value, so I know that I'm solving for A. So I'm just going to substitute these numbers in. My rate is 0.1 times 5. It's been a minute since we've done this. What I'll say is super important is that you have got to have 2 parentheses closing this, because this is an order of operations thing that's happening right here. So you cannot go 1.1 times 5. That is a wrong order of operations. Just stick that whole thing in your calculator. One moment. I have $4,500. Would you agree with that? Okay. So that is how much I will have in my account in 5 years. I have some more future value calculations. That's the same as the other side. Compound interest. I'm going to deposit $15,000 in an account that earns 5% compounded monthly. How much will be in the account? So that's talking about a future amount after 10 years. I see the word compound and I see future, so that tells me I'm using the compound interest formula. A equals P parenthesis 1 plus R divided by N to the NT. I'm going to deposit $15,000, so that is my P, my initial amount. It earns 5% APR. That is my rate. So I turned 5% into a decimal. I got 0.05. N is how many times a year it compounds, and this one says it compounds monthly, therefore N is 12. T is always my time in years, so if it's not in years, you're going to have to convert it, and in this case, I'm doing it for 10 years. I'm going to substitute all my numbers in for these variables. R is 0.05 divided by 12. 12 times 10. I trust your calculator for a lot of things, but not when I have an exponent to an exponent. This, I highly recommend you multiply these numbers and you only enter it as a single exponent in your calculator. I'm going to hit pause while they try this one. So I run those numbers in my calculator and I got $24,705. And then I was looking at my decimals and I got 0.14246. Money always needs to be rounded to 2 decimals. So when I look, so the 4, and then I look to the right, the 2 leaves the 4 the same. So therefore I have $24,705.14. If your rounding is off, I am prepared to deduct points at this point in time. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do some loan payment and total cost calculations. I borrowed $15,000 for 6 years at 7%. Here's my monthly payment. What is the total cost of borrowing, principal and interest. So I don't even have to calculate a payment. It literally tells me what my payment is. When you make a payment every month, this amount consists of both principal and interest. So I paid back $256.72 every single month. That's why I'm multiplying by 12 for 6 years. 256.72 times 12 times 6. I paid back $18,483.84 to the bank. That's how much I paid back. And when I paid that, once again, that consists of both principal and interest. What's the total cost of borrowing? It looks like that is my answer. If it had said how much interest did you pay on that loan, well, then you have to take how much you paid back, the $18,483.84, minus your principal amount. So that's that amount. That's your principal amount, because this $18,000 has principal and interest built into it. So then when you subtract that amount, 8 minus 5 is 3483.84. Means that you paid the bank $3,483.84 in interest alone. I don't know why I have the same problem. You borrow this, here's your monthly payment. What's the total interest paid? Oh, that's just asking for step 2 to be done. Okay. So I have a monthly payment right here, which is principal plus interest. So if you take your payment times 12 times the number of years, that says YRS for years, and you subtract off your principal, how much you initially borrowed, this tells you the amount of interest that you paid on the loan. So my payment is $254.16 times 12 times 3 minus $8,000. I got $1,149.76. So the 9% is quite a bit, but you significantly reduced how much interest you paid because it's not a very long time frame. I'm going to hit the pause button and see what we're doing next. All right, so that is everything on your exam for Unit 4. So there are sections in each, questions in each section, and then 15 through 19 is a little bit of everything that's jumbled up. So that's what the test will be like. It'll be jumbled up. I'm not going to label each section and go, here's what you're doing, here's what you're doing. So we will do Unit 5 review tomorrow. Thanks.